We're going to take a look at these epic tales, as we're calling them. These are the stories that are most often illustrated in children's Bibles. They are the stories that we learn most typically in Sunday school, and yet for most adults, we don't spend much time learning them or growing into them or coloring in between the lines, taking a deep dive into what God has for us through these stories, what God longs for us to know about who God is and who God wants us to be. And so what we're going to do for the next 4 weeks is we're going to do just that. We're going to color in the lines of these epic tales by taking a new look at the Old Testament stories. And we're going to start with Daniel in the den of lions. But before we can get to that story, we need to have a good overview on the book of Daniel. The book of Daniel, it comes to us in the Old Testament, as I've already mentioned, and it has 12 chapters. And it was written specifically for an exiled group of Israelites who were living under the terrorizing reign of foreign kings and kingdoms. And so when you look at the book of Daniel, it's written for a group of people that are distressed, or that are oppressed, that are walking in exile, in isolation, facing tough stuff. Daniel's broken into two halves, chapters 1 through 6. It really focuses in on a collection of stories, court stories, that take place largely in the king's courts, these foreign kings and kingdoms' courts. And so they read like storybook tales or fables. And you can imagine as you're reading through them, because of the detail and because of the cadence, that these are stories that would have been shared around dinner tables or perhaps even around campfires from generation to generation. Each one of these stories gives us a scriptural and spiritual roadmap that leads us through tough times toward hope. The second half of Daniel, chapters 7 through 12, they read more like Revelation. They give us a collection, 3 images or 3 dreams, apocalyptic visions of the future, the coming age of the kingdom, where the God of Israel would one day rule again in glory, in splendor. It would give us a picture of hope by imagining the one day that would be the coming end of an age, the ushering in of a brand new kingdom, a brand new era where God would reign forever. And so Daniel together, when you look at both halves, it's a story of hope. It's intended for people that are walking in despair, in oppression, so that they might find hope, not only through a roadmap that would lead them out of their circumstance, but that would give them vision for a future one day that would be filled with hope, a hope that would glorify the God of Israel in his coming kingdom.